So here's a question. How do you talk so that kids will listen?
One of the most common requests we get on the channel, we're going to dive into that today. Vicki, I love that we're having this conversation today because your experience as a speech language pathologist, working with kids about talking and communication and skills, and now we get to tie that into positive parenting as well, how to talk so kids will listen. What do you think are some of the most important things to consider first?
So one of the things I would say is get on their level physically.
Physically?
Yeah, physically. So, if you're talking to a small child, get down with them, get on their level. If you're talking to a teenager, make sure that you're not trying to be bigger than them. Get on their level with them. Now, I also mean not only physically, but here's a new word, stagely. Okay,
because it's about stage, not age,
so
right?
we want to get on their level by their stage. Now, remember, when we're dealing with stage, it is talking about their behavior, the type of behavior that they are exhibiting. It's their moral development, okay? So it doesn't always correlate with age, and it can go back and forth, but depending on where they are in stage, it drives how you're going to react to them, okay?
Right. So and it's not just behavior. So stage is also how they're thinking, how they're making their moral decisions.
How they're showing up.
And so a quick example, if we take stage 1, for example, where it tends to be selfish and self-centered, it's very egocentric at stage 1. They're not thinking in terms of, oh, what's the right thing to do in this circumstance? They're thinking about what's in it for me, or am I going to get clobbered?
Right.
And so they're going to respond differently because of that. That's what you're talking about. So you get on their
level, you're talking consequences with them. Or you get on their level if they're cooperating, you get on their level with communication.
Yes, an open dialogue so that they have some input.
So
if they're on stage 3, you know what? We don't talk about stage 3 very much here.
Because it's really pretty easy.
I never have parents showing up at my office saying, oh, doc, my kids are so responsible. What should I do about that? Parents don't seem to need help with that.
Actually, I'd say the one place that you see the most help, it's in your own way of dealing with it. I see adult children, often stage 3, and I'm learning how to deal with
their independence, maybe?
Just waiting for the consultation to be requested.
Right, because you want to offer advice before it's requested.
Right.
Vicki, our example is probably one of the most important teachers for our kids because we're showing them what it is that we want from them. So modeling respect, keeping a calm voice and face and body, showing them that they can respectfully communicate with us and offering them that same level of respect.
I have this strong memory. I remember one time I had one of my children, I think it was my oldest child, was in the back seat. He had said something, we'd had kind of a little blow up, right? And I was driving like this. My eyebrows were like this.
Oh, crinkly.
And I remember thinking, I should calm down. I should just soften out my eyebrows. And I was trying to decide if I was ready yet. And then I kind of decided, okay, I'm just going to let go of the tension. I'm going to smile at my son. And I looked back and he'd fallen asleep. I'd kind of missed my window of opportunity. But I think, sometimes it just takes a minute sometimes to just kind of monitor yourself. What's my voice, my tone of voice? Is it respectful? Is it calm? What's my face showing? What's my body language? Is it trying to be big and dominant? Remember, we're going to get on their level and we're going to model and guide them with respect and calmness.
This takes some humility too.
It does. It's true. And practice.
And practice, right. You mentioned face and your eyebrows. Pay attention to what's going on right up here in this area because it can convey a lot. And for you to be aware of that, I've got a couple of clients where I call them on it. I'm like, your eyebrows are like, and they're really? I didn't know. And then they're constantly monitoring it. But if you can smooth it out just a little bit right through here, through your eyebrows and your forehead, just let that smooth out a little bit.
It calms you a bit.
It does. It changes your energy and how you feel. And it communicates something very specific to your kids as well. Calm voice, calm face, calm body. That helps them to listen. This is one way to talk to your kids so that they'll listen.
Another way to help your child really listen to you is to take on the role of a leader versus a controlling person. Okay, a controlling individual in their life. So you might say, you know, what needs to happen for you to be able to go out with your friend? What needs to happen to your room? Instead of just saying, go clean your room right now. So there's one controlling, there's one kind of leading them into what needs to happen.
Instead of just giving the commands.
Right.
You're describing
or even
the
helping
conditions.
them to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of the times our children know what they need to do. We think they're not listening, but they've heard. And so you're kind of guiding them through it.
And there may have been some practice already with waiting for mom or dad to command me in a certain tone of voice, you know, with a certain volume before I actually respond. Right. It's so amazing to see how well kids respond when you speak calmly, when you focus on tasks rather than on giving commands or whatever it is, and to be consistent in following through with a consequence after that without getting upset.
Right.
See, that's the part we sometimes skip. We just go right to upset without effectively following up to make remember we've talked about this before on the channel, to turn our words from garbage into gold.
Right. That leads nicely into another idea, and that is to get to yes as often as you can. My sister once mentioned to me, she said, look, if it's not immoral or illegal, let's see if there's a way we can have it happen. You know, I'm going to be okay with it. So, you know, your kid comes and asks you, can I do something? And your first response is usually, no, but maybe just take a brief moment and pause and think, okay, is it immoral or illegal? Because you're gonna oppose those, right? But let's just see, is there some way to get to yes? Well, what would it take? You know, I really like that question. What do you think it would take for you to be able to take the car on Friday night? What would it take?
Right.
Instead of, no, you didn't do your homework. No, you didn't go to the store when I asked you to. What would it take? You know, how can we get to yes?
Getting to yes is a powerful way to establish yourself as an authority, but also as someone who's willing to provide some good times and good things to your child. Both of those things are required to be able to set and enforce limits and be seen as a provider of good times and good things. That gives you authority.
It does. And getting to yes as often as possible makes the no carry more weight when you must give it. We're talking about how do we get our child to listen. They don't want to hear no, but sometimes no has to be the answer. And so if you can get to yes as often as possible, when no is the needed answer, it carries better weight.
Then it carries more weight, exactly. It puts you in a better position as a parent as well. Do you get tired of saying no all the time? Maybe you don't have to. Maybe you could get to yes, and it's all right to get to yes when or yes if. That's totally fine.
Oh, yeah.
And it might still sound like no to your child because they're not willing to do the conditions that are necessary to get to it. It puts you in a better position as a parent because you just said yes. This is only one of the many topics that are important to us as parents. Please join us at parentingpowerup.com. What you're going to get there is an amazing set of resources that Vicki and I have collaborated on to bring you as conscious, positive parents. There are free trainings, there are downloadable materials, there are digital courses, all for you at parentingpowerup.com. Hope to see you there.
The phone. And I wished I'd had a number so